So I have this kid I went to camp with who is from somewhere South Shore.
Bar River?
And he's
Bar River?
He's become like, over the course of time, he was the first person I ever bumped into on Facebook who said really racist things. And then the first person I ever bumped into who said like very sort of like not true things. And it was like my first real experience and exposure to that. And just kind of watching him do it. And I have this lyric and I bring it into co-writing sessions all the time. And people just do not want to touch it. And this kid, it's sort of like this kid Ken is on the internet with his friends, shooting holes in dead black men. Because like that's all he does. They shouldn't have run. They shouldn't have done it. It's their fault. And I always bring that into co-writes and say, like, I'd like to figure out a way to make this song happen so that we can tell the world in a certain way that like this is how people think and how absurd it is and how cruel it is. And people are just like, no fucking way. No way am I touching that. And I'm like, okay, and I just keep bringing it into co-writes. I've got a weird one. I've got one I want to lay on you. And they're like, nope. So I do that all the time. I have a song called Whitney Houston's National Anthem as a title. And the idea was, I just think really like heavy things all the time. And I thought like, well, Whitney Houston's National Anthem is X amount of minutes long. And, you know, and I thought about George Floyd and how long, and I thought, well, that's a crazy contrast. That like our culture holds Whitney Houston up as this sort of beacon of, and I just have all these things and I'll bring them in and people are like, no way, you can't do that. And so I try to do it, sometimes it doesn't work, but oftentimes I feel like, kind of like my thoughts are not really welcome. Because, you know, but that's why when my kid says things, I don't, you know, like when my kid thinks something, I go, oh, that's fascinating, like, let's talk about it. But like, you know, people don't want to talk about Ken and his racist thoughts about why people shouldn't have done something and they're dead. You know what I mean? Like there's this, it's a crazy idea. So anyway, that's a good way to chill a room. But it's just how it works. So yeah, often, almost daily, I feel like a fucking alien. I was on the Kelly Clarkson tour and I felt like I was beamed in from another planet. I tried to write a song called Alien and I brought it in. And
you were amazing on that tour. Yeah.
So yeah, that's, yeah.
How do you find yourself writing these songs?
What do you mean? Like, they just kind of show up for real. Like, I often spend time every morning, like, you gotta show up for them. You gotta show up with a guitar, and you gotta show up with a recording thing. You just gotta be like, sit down first thing in the morning before your brain has a chance to assassinate you. And just be like, you know, like oh, like that, you know, like, and then like you sit back later and listen to it 15 minutes later and you're like, that's garbage. Or sometimes you're like, that's great, oh my god, how did that happen? And you wait for that moment where like they call it God walking through the room. There's those moments where you don't mean it, you don't know how it showed up. But it's like, and you gotta keep your muscles toned because when it's there you gotta be ready to receive it. I'm not particularly good at receiving it. You know, it shows up and I'll be like, this is terrible, let's get lunch. But really, you want to sort of go at it. So anyway, that's usually it. I just kind of, and every time it shows up, I don't know when it's going to show up, but I feel like if you show up for it, it will show up for you, and when it does, just try and catch it, and then try and, the thing I'm not particularly good at is rolling with it as it's happening, because I get scared. There's a lyric in Type of Race that says like, most days I'm afraid of my own inspiration. It's like digging a hole and then filling it back in. That's how it feels. Start feeling swept up in something, and it's amazing, and I immediately am like, okay, let's take a break, you know what I mean? But really the thing that's great is, that's how Tom Petty wrote Freefall. And I'm not saying I'm going to write Freefall, but Tom Petty sat down and was like, you know, he's like, and Jeff Lynne was there, and he's like, in that chorus, just go, see if you go an octave up. Then I'm free! And it was like, there it was, 3 minutes later, the song's done. So it's like, and Tom Petty spent years, his whole life, going to the gym, essentially, for creativity, so that when those things showed up, he wasn't going to throw his back out when they left off. I'll play another song. This is really fun. I hope everybody's good. I hope At these shows, I told my wife last night, I've been having like a real honesty hangover. Because you just feel like, oh my God, you know, I'm going back and singing songs from 2005 and 6 that were sort of heavy to me. And it's wild to play them in front of people and be kind of honest. Like, I can't believe I told you the can line. I said that in real life, in words to you. But I feel like, you know, whatever. Just fucking words. We're all dying. Anyway,
well, on that note.
There's a lot of good stuff on the Room at the End of the World, but some of those were there. This one, people ask for some weird stuff. Where's Jason Donahue? Awesome stuff. This list is enormous, so I'll read like Colleen, you wanted Modern Love, great. Andrea wanted Drop Told You. Ricky wanted Fall to Pieces. Jennifer wanted Hysteria. Scott wanted I Saw. Dan wanted Kill the Lights. Colleen wanted Miracles. From the 1800s, that song. Sadness. Again, thanks Scott for going twice. Andrea wanted Singing Sweet twice. And then Matt wanted The Waiting. Jill wanted Used to Be. Mike wanted Weight of It All. Brad wanted Weight of It All. Brad wanted Playlist and Clothes was loud. Don plus B wings. Anyway, so I'll do, let's do this. This is on my like 9th record, which happened in 1999. You win, I quit. I'm certain that my end one is just to leave me desperate now. I remember your threatening arms. I remember your hand. And how easily it seemed to me they could rip me open. Baby, I'm falling away. Baby, I'm falling wasted my September. You were stuck in my head. Wasted days closed in hopes that the waves would swim again. Don't offer me the world. That's the way I believe. I've seen stronger men draped over your shoulder, so filled with crazy, too drunk to leave. Baby, I'm falling away. Oh, baby, I'm falling away. You were always good at putting words to me. You always liked me better when I never gave you them. You were always good at putting words to me, wearing them so loud.